Okay, so now that we've talked a lot about finding greatest common factors, what we're going to do now is use the greatest common factor of an algebraic expression to actually do some factoring. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about what factoring actually is. So, if you're watching these videos, you most likely already know what factoring is, but it's been my experience from back when I was a teacher that most students don't really think of factoring in these terms that I'm about to talk about now. But I find it's always easier to just remember that factoring is just dividing. Okay, factoring is really just the same thing as dividing. They're really just the same exact thing. So what's that all about? Well, remember when we did our factor trees way back in one of the earlier videos, and we said 20 is 4 times 5. So what are we doing? We're splitting up 20 into its factors. 4 and 5 are factors. But what do? We took 20 and we divided it. So we know 20 divided by 4 equals 5. Okay, so 4 and 5 are factors of 20 here. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And further, 4 divides into factors of 2 and 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2 and 2 are factors here. So 20, if we use a factor tree to split it up into its factors, we're really just dividing. Okay, that's all we're doing. So if we just remember that factoring is dividing, then the process of factoring in general is really much easier than it otherwise would be. So we don't have to think factoring is some crazy new concept that's really complicated and something completely different from everything that we've been doing. Factoring is really just the same thing as dividing. So we'll see how that is in the upcoming videos when we start doing some examples of factoring algebraic expressions using the greatest common factor.